Good afternoon. Thank you for being here. It's like a last man standing competition, so you are the only ones who can still win the prize. This afternoon I'm going to talk about traditional games. I don't know if you are thinking about developing your next game. If so, in this talk we will talk about several topics about this genre. And I hope that this is helpful for you. First of all, I'm going to talk a little bit about the company I work. It's called Akamon. We have several portals in Southern Europe and Latin America. In Spain we have Mundijuegos, in France Mundijeux, in Brazil we have Ludijogos, Italy Mundijoki. The games we develop in our own studio are local, traditional games, as well as social casino games. For us it's very important that every time we go to a new market, we localize the site and we launch local games. Our business model basically consists in virtual currency, subscription, and advertising. And our typical player is a female, 35, 45-year-old, so a bit different from the typical MMO player. We heard a lot of things about MMOs during this show, and this afternoon I'm going to talk about a different genre, different kind of player. Let's say what we consider traditional games. As Wikipedia says, it's an adaptation of gameplay that used to be played offline. The kind of games we used to play with our friends, card games, board games, the translation from these games to the online gaming. For us, the opposite would be fantasy or scripted games where a script is developed, new gameplay, new mechanics. Good examples of these would be backgammon, or this game is Rummy, a very traditional game in several countries, as opposite to fantasy games like Dark Orbit or Farmville, for instance, where a script is developed, a story is created from scratch. When you develop traditional games, you have to consider there are several pros and cons. In the side of the pros, there's a friendly learning curve. These games used to be played before computers, before mobile, so for people it's easy to understand that game. They have played for years with their parents, with their friends, so they understand how they must play. They have a longer life cycle. These games, this gameplay has been tested for decades or even centuries. These games have existed in most of the cases for a long period of time, so it's like tested gameplay. There's a quicker immersion in the game. It's easy to get into the game because it's something you already knew before playing on a computer or on a mobile device. And players are used to pay. If you create a poker or a bingo, people who play bingo know that when they go to a bingo room, they have to pay for their cards, or if they play poker, they know they pay for their bet. So it's easier to convert into paying users. In the con side, it's difficult to protect IP. It's easy to copy. Everyone can make a poker, everyone can make bingo, everyone can make rummy games. It's a very competitive genre. There are many players in this genre. And there are promiscuous players. It means they can play in your site, but they are one click far from playing in your competitor. When we talk about the learning curve, as I said, the traditional games, usually when someone gets into your site and wants to play, let's say, chess or poker, for instance, they already know the rules. In our case, most of our games don't even have a tutorial, because people know how to play chess, people know how to play poker, people know how to play bingo. So it's easy for them to understand the game, and that's why, with a little effort, they have a lot of knowledge of your game. In non-traditional games, this is a bit different. You need a very good tutorial. You need to explain the story that will be around the game. So the effort that you need from your users is bigger than in traditional games. Talking about life cycle, as I said, these games have been tested for centuries. Backgammon or chess have been around for a long period of time. So in the typical stages of every game, non-traditional games, it's easy to see they have an interaction, growth, maturity, and decline. In the case of traditional games, this maturity part of the cycle can be much longer. It's something that in our own experience, we see that the games that we launch, it's difficult for them to decline in terms of daily active users or monthly active users. It also is important, going back to the graphic of the learning curve, that of course you want to make money from your games, and it's easier to make money when people understand, they have a very deep knowledge of your game. I place this red dotted line that I say the MOMO, the monetization moment. People will spend money when they understand the game, when they understand the challenge you are suggesting them. So in the case of traditional games, you can put the monetization barrier before than in a non-traditional game. It's easy for them to, for instance, pay a subscription even before playing. In our experience, we in our sites, we even ask them to pay before even testing the game, and we have a very good conversion because they know what they are going to play. They know they have their friends there. They are asking them to play the same game. Our games are synchronous multiplayer games, so it's easy to ask them to pay for €1 to send SMS message and monetize them from the very beginning. In our portfolio of games, we have games that are based on chance, like bingo or roulette or slots, and we also have games that are more based in skill, like, for instance, billiard or mini golf. And what we've seen in the past is that you cannot use the same business model depending on the kind of game you are offering. And our experience in this field says that games that are based on skill have much better conversion, much better monetization with subscriptions and power-ups and downloadable content. While when we talk about chance games, bingo, roulette, slots, we monetize them through virtual currency. There's no need to put them a subscription barrier. You can let them in, and then they spend their money buying bingo cards or slot spins or virtual currency to bet in the social roulette. Of course, if your game is a mix between chance and skill, like, for instance, poker, then there's also a mix of business models. There can be a subscription to access, for instance, all the rooms in every time of the day, but also virtual currencies, so they can place their bets. As I said in the beginning, we are also facing the challenge to go international. We started in Spain 7 years ago, and only 2 years ago we started to launch our international products. And my advice on this field is know your target audience. I'm going to explain you an example. For instance, in France, we made research about which local games were played by people in France, and we detected 2 games. We developed both games, both card games, and we saw that while one of them was growing really fast, the other one was like a flop. And when we went in depth analyzing what happened, we detected that this failed game was played by grannies. So people that don't have computers, don't like to play on the internet, so it was difficult to get a big audience with that game. So it's important to understand, if you develop a traditional game, if this is going to be played by your audience. The channel. Of course, when you bring a traditional game to online, you must be aware of the advantages that each channel can give you. It's not the same playing in a bar with your friends than playing online, but you must give your users the tools to take advantage of these channels. For instance, let them invite their friends, challenge their friends, rank themselves with their friends. And then in each one of these channels there are different features that you must consider. For instance, Facebook will provide some viral features that will let you grow your user base with virality. This is something I'm sure you all know with the social graph. It's easier to expand your user base when, for instance, players post their scores or their challenges in their wall. When we talk about mobile, for instance, there's a very good game that is called Angry Words. They took the advantage of the mobile channel, which is the play by turns. This Angry Words game, it's like a Scrabble, and Scrabble, if you play in the traditional way, it's like people around the table, maybe 1 hour or 1 hour and a half playing, so it's a very big chunk of time to get people involved in the game. In their mobile app, they use this turn based game where you make your word and then you challenge your friend, so you can make like a snack size game of a very traditional game like Scrabble. So it's important to understand which advantage can give you each one of these challenges. In the case that we know most at Akamon, which is web portal, the fact, and this is something that we've heard this morning in the show, is to build an audience, to build a community with shared liquidity in terms of virtual currency. People can buy currency from one game and use it in another game, which gives you the power to cross-sell games easily. If you have money in your bingo account, you can use it to play poker, or you can use it to play rummy games or whatever. So it's important to take advantage of this channel too. And of course, it's also important to provide your user base the opportunity to play the same game in each one of these channels. Otherwise, you're losing your players. And as I said, traditional game players are very promiscuous, and they will go to your competitors if you don't do so. And basically, that's all. I wanted to make it short and straight to the point. If you have any questions, I will be more than happy to answer. Well, thank you.